They called it Atlantis, a city so advanced, so magnificent, that it was said to rival even the imagination of the gods, a paradise of glittering towers, vast harbors, golden temples, and people who possessed knowledge far beyond their time. But one day, in the blink of an eye, Atlantis vanished beneath the wave as a broken bar, leaving behind only whispers, legends, and an unsolved mystery that continues to haunt humanity thousands of years later. Our story begins over 2,000 years ago, with the philosopher Plato as the first person to ever write about Atlantis. Around 360 BC, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Plato described Atlantis as a powerful island empire located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. According to him, the Atlanteans once ruled over many lands, but their pride grew too great. They defied the gods, and as punishment, their island sank into the sea in a single day and night of misfortune. But was it just a story, a moral lesson about arrogance and divine retribution, or was Plato preserving a memory of something real? That question has consumed explorers, scientists, and dreamers for centuries. Imagine the scene: an island larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined, surrounded by concentric rings of land and water. Its central temple glittered with aurichocum, a mysterious red metal said to be second only to gold in value. Streets were paved with precious stones, vast canals connected the island to the open ocean, and towering walls protected its people, who lived in harmony with nature and technology beyond their age. If this sounds too advanced for the Bronze Age, that's precisely what makes Atlantis so fascinating. Could such a civilization really have existed, or did Plato invent it as an allegory? Throughout history, many have claimed to find clues to its whereabouts. Some point to the Mediterranean, suggesting Atlantis was actually the island of Santorini, devastated by a massive volcanic eruption around 1600 BC. The ancient city of Akrotiri, buried beneath ash, shows surprising sophistication: multi-story houses, plumbing systems, frescoes. Could Plato's story have been inspired by memories of this disaster, passed down through generations? Others believe Atlantis lies further west, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. In the 1800s, a man named Ignatius Donnelly revived the legend with his book Atlantis, the Antediluvian World. He argued that all ancient civilizations, from the Mayans to the Egyptians, were descendants of Atlantean survivors who spread their knowledge after the cataclysm. Donnelly's ideas inspired an entire era of speculation. Maps were drawn showing Atlantis between Africa and the Americas. Some even suggested it was the Azores, a group of islands off Portugal, that were once mountaintops of the sunken continent. But the mystery deepened with the rise of modern science. In the 20th century, oceanographers mapped the seafloor and found no trace of a vast submerged continent in the Atlantic. Yet the absence of evidence only fueled more creative theories. One of the strangest came from Nazi Germany. The Nazi regime, obsessed with finding proof of a superior ancient race, sent expeditions across the world, from Tibet to Antarctica, believing that the lost Aryan civilization of Atlantis held the key to human origins. Some of their records, recovered after the war, describe strange ruins and symbols in icy caverns beneath the Antarctic surface. Decades later, conspiracy theorists would claim that the true Atlantis lies under the South Pole, frozen in time beneath miles of ice. But let's step back and ask a different question. What if Atlantis was never meant to be a single place, but a memory, a collective echo of many lost civilizations? Ancient ruins around the world seem to whisper similar stories. Massive megaliths in Peru that fit together so precisely we still don't know how they were carved. The broken bar pyramids in Egypt and Mexico, built to cross oceans with uncanny similarity as a broken bar, and the submerged ruins off the coast of Japan, at Yonaguni, that some believe to be man-made remnants of another sunken world. Could it be that multiple advanced cultures once exist today, wiped out by global cataclysms like floods, earthquakes, or comet impacts, and the memory of one such world became known to Plato as Atlantis? Recent discoveries give this idea surprising weight. In 2011, archaeologists found evidence of a prehistoric tsunami that swept across the Mediterranean, devastating coastal settlements. In 2018, researchers studying the Sahara Desert uncovered the Richat Structure, also called the Eye of the Sahara, a massive circular formation in Mauritania that eerily resembles Plato's description of Atlantis. Concentric rings of land and water. Satellite images show perfect geometry: three large rings, a central island, and even traces of ancient riverbeds leading toward the Atlantic Ocean. Could this be the resting place of Atlantis? The theory exploded online, with countless videos and articles comparing the measurements described by Plato to the structure's proportions. Many align perfectly. Skeptics argue it's just a natural formation, but the resemblance is uncanny. What if the Sahara wasn't always a desert? What if, thousands of years ago, it was lush, green, and alive as geological evidence suggests, and Atlantis stood right there before a massive flood buried it beneath sand and time? Then there's the question of knowledge. If Atlantis truly existed, what kind of wisdom did they possess? Plato hinted at their mastery over geometry, astronomy, and architecture. Later legends added more technologies for energy, flight, and healing that sound eerily futuristic. Some French theorists even claim that remnants of Atlantean technology are hidden in ancient artifacts, say like the crystal skulls of Central America or the mysterious Antikythera mechanism from Greece, an ancient analog computer capable of predicting celestial movements. If humanity once reached such heights before a great fall, it would rewrite everything we know about history. But what caused their downfall? Plato's words were clear: the Atlanteans became greedy and corrupt, seeking to dominate other lands. The gods, displeased, unleashed earthquakes and floods that swallowed their empire whole. From a moral perspective, Atlantis serves as a timeless warning, a reminder that power without humility brings destruction. Yet some scientists suggest a more physical explanation. Around 12,000 years ago, the last ice age ended abruptly. Vast glaciers melted, and sea levels rose by over 100 meters. Coastlines vanished, entire regions flooded, a scenario strikingly similar to Plato's account. Could this global event be the historical root of the Atlantis legend? Even today, underwater archaeologists continue to discover sunken ruins that defy explanation. Massive stone structures off India's coast in the Gulf of Combat, ancient cities beneath the waters of Cuba, and stone roads extending deep into the ocean off Bimini in the Bahamas, famously called the Bimini Road. Each of these discoveries adds another piece to the puzzle, evidence that advanced societies may have existed long before our textbooks begin human history. So perhaps, in the end, Atlantis isn't just a story about a lost city. Maybe it's the story of humanity itself, our cycles of rise and fall, our brilliance and our hubris, our eternal struggle to balance progress with wisdom. Every civilization leaves behind echoes, ruins, myths, artifacts, and warnings. And as we stand today on the edge of our own technological age, maybe the true mystery of Atlantis is not whether it existed, but whether we will one day share its fate.